everybody. Good evening. This is Rebecca with Red True Crime. Happy day after Thanksgiving and happy holidays and all that good stuff. So, I have been home and I've been watching some podcasts, some interviews, doing a little more research on some things myself, and I wanted to clarify a few things. So I uploaded a video this evening to YouTube, and I posted the link on Facebook about the T.K. Burton indictments, and I also discussed in there Jay Daniels, about how much he annoys the heck out of me, and the 3-minute rant that he goes on about me in a live that he did on Facebook. So that video has been included in the one I've uploaded tonight. So I want to talk about Jay Daniels for just a moment. And, So, for those of you who don't know who Jay Daniels is, he is a retired New York cop that is also a former Marine and claims to be a private investigator and bounty hunter. So, let's see here. He reached out to me back in June about Marissa Carmichael's case. He's said some things about how he was involved in May. Then we find where he started a GoFundMe back in February. You know, a lot of the things he was saying weren't making any sense. He was claiming a lot of crazy theories, saying that her body was chopped up and they used hydrochloric acid to deal with it. It was insane. So to make a long story short, once I realized what a loon he was, I tried to cut all contact off from him completely because he's nuts. And it didn't stop him from contacting me a lot. So in this 3-minute video where he's ranting about me, he goes on about how I will be nothing. I have just a podcast. I don't make any money, which is true. I need to get a real job, which I have. And I have no government contacts, and his person at the State Department said I lost my job with the newspaper, hence why I'm doing a podcast. So, on that note, I have never worked for a newspaper. Never. So I'm not sure where his friend at the State Department got that. So there's that. He said I was selfish for not wanting to work with him because he is the director of the North Carolina Missing Person Foundation, which is a foundation that does not exist. And because he puts all kinds of crazy, stupid things on his Facebook page, like fake Interpol badges, fake money, claiming his parts in movies. He owns property, these cars, and everything else. And there were other people commenting on these posts, which kind of gave me an idea, like maybe I should contact some of these people and see how well they know him. And one person was his former fiance. She was very enlightening. So, make a long story short, he's got some obsession issues. And that is why they're no longer together. Another person that I made contact with was somebody that was in his platoon when he was in the Marines. Now, this is very interesting because he claims to be a 20-year Marine veteran. No. He's only in for 6 years. He claims he won a Purple Heart because he was injured in the line of duty. Didn't happen either. Claims to be a Marine recruiter. Not that either. He walks around wearing a uniform with badges and medals that he never earned. So he is, as they say, he has no valor. So these are all things about him. But I digress. Let's see, back to Marissa Carmichael. So there's not been any update on her case. We still don't know if those human remains they found on Alamance Church Road, who they even belong to. Let's see. Her mother is making all the rounds on the podcast on YouTube. She did a few here in the last couple weeks. And she's still staying to the same story, that Marissa is being held against her will somewhere. So, it is what it is. The other upsetting thing about Marissa's family is that Marissa's younger sister is about to give birth to her first child. she's very young. She's like 18, 19 years old, and it is what it is. I mean, people have babies all the time. Bad thing is, the father of her child is a convicted pedophile and has been with her since she was 14 years old. I think she is now 18 or almost 19. That's a problem. Yeah, I don't know how any of this is okay. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, they're offering a $3,500 reward for finding Marissa. So those of you out there who want to go on a scavenger hunt, have at it. Sad case, that Jair Schneider guy out of Atlanta, that is a rising TikTok star. Very sad case, But I'd like to get some clarification on that one, because first they said they found him in a lake, where he drove the car into a lake, and now they're saying they just found him in the car in the woods where he had hit a tree. So I'd like to know what's going on with that. I looked at his Facebook page, looked at some of his videos. Looks like he was trying to get into that kind of rapper life. And I hope that is not what caused his demise, but very sad case. And then there's a girl missing out of Charlotte that's been missing. Her file came across, got sent to me, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of research on that, so I'll be back with a case update on that. It just comes down to, in the season of giving, we need to be giving. Because apparently I'm selfish because I don't want to work with people to find other people. It is what it is. But I feel for Marissa's kids, because it's Thanksgiving, their mom's not around. The news did a report on her. I find it interesting that Mo, of all people, is still talking to the news. Like, dude, probably something she was involved with you where I got her missing in the first place. But now the father of Marissa's children is still being charged with misdemeanor child abuse. The woman that drove her into Greensboro that night, Tasha Poplin, has now got pending charges for assault and stalking. Actually, I think the assault charge has been dealt with, but now it's just misdemeanor stalking on 2 people. Let's see. Who else is... Have not heard any updates on Jersey, Moneybag, or on Shawnee Lely. And there's so many players in this. So many interesting characters in this case that pop up. I have not heard anything from the friend that lived at the house. What was her name? Janasia. Janaja. Yeah, I haven't heard any updates on her either. So who knows what's going on. But it just seems like GPD has just dropped this case. They just seem to have dropped it. They're not even trying to find any answers to this. But I still say all signs point to smoke. I'm not going to stop saying that. And, it's just so sad because, now we've hit Thanksgiving. Christmas is right around the corner. And those poor kids. I know they're still in foster care. And that's probably a better place for them at this point. Because if you've got your aunt about to give birth to a child that was, put in her by a pedophile, and the pedophile is staying in that house, those kids had no reason to be anywhere near those people. So, yeah, I don't get that. Oh, JonBenet Ramsey, though. That was something that's popped up here recently. Off of Marissa onto this. I watched the documentary on Netflix about JonBenet Ramsey. It was interesting. I remember when the case first started back in 96. I was, sophomore in college when that was going on. And very, very sad. And it's interesting to see how many people still believe the parents had something to do with it. Even though there was DNA found that did not point to anybody in the family. And, 30 years later, we still don't have an answer as to who actually killed her. That poor kid. It's crazy. But it did seem like the Boulder police just zeroed in on the family and did not bother to look at anybody else. Because they even admitted that they were very inexperienced when it came to kidnapping and homicides. Because they just didn't have that in that small town. So, and there was a woman who, she wasn't a profiler, I forget what the heck she is on YouTube, that was just calling all kinds of nonsense out on the family. And I was just like, my God. The conjecture. They actually showed a clip of the Geraldo Rivera show, which I remember from when I was a kid. him holding court on a show, like, you know, presenting evidence and having the audience decide whether or not the parents were guilty. And they're like, yes, we find that Patsy Ramsey and John Bennett Ramsey are guilty of murder of JonBenét. And I'm like, that could be interesting for a new reality TV series. Let people judge you and have you executed. But I don't know. Like I said, it's sad because that is an ongoing case that there is no closure for. Even though you've got multiple people that were likely for it, but because there was DNA found, none of it matched anybody in the family. So I don't understand how the family could still be considered. So many cases. Oh, Susan Smith, funny, tried to go for parole again, denied. And those of you who don't remember Susan Smith, she was the mother who murdered her 2 little boys, drove the car into a lake, and allowed them and watched them drown because she was having an affair with a guy who didn't want kids. And she was about to leave her husband and just kill her kids. So I think she got life. I think she's in South Carolina. But when her kids were killed, she made up a story that a black man carjacked her and took her kids. So, yeah. So she's in prison for the rest of her life for that. And probably needs to stay there. Most definitely needs to stay there. So check out Jay Daniels' page. You're going to see all kinds of craziness on his page. And also check out my video I just uploaded about him. Because I put in a little comments throughout the video because, you know, I was bored and why not. So have fun with that. Be safe, everybody. Hope you got some good Black Friday deals. I know I did. And I'll be back in a couple days with another case update about something. And, and like I said, just be wary of what people tell you about the Marissa Carmichael case because who knows what really the truth is anymore. I don't know. But good night. This is Rebecca with Red True Crime. Be weird, be rude, be safe, and have a good weekend.